those of you already know Sue Bell and Matt are the architects of the system, and I'm the mere mortal marketer. And we bring you lots of really cool and amazing things. We've added so much functionality to this that I don't even know where to begin. So this is, first and foremost, I would say that this is a network, literally an empire-building tool. And our biggest challenge in the marketing department has been to communicate the sheer power of it, because it's never really done anything. There's nothing out there that does anything like what we do. And you hear that a lot probably, but in this case, this is literally true. So rather than just tell you about it, we'll just jump right in and give you an overview about what it does. So thanks for joining us.
Excellent. Okay, I'll just start off and give a basic overview of what are the main reasons why we went to all the pain of unwinding the whole SEO process, the internet, and figured out how to build a system that actually gives us everything we need to build out, i.e. what we call networks. If we do an eagle's view and we zoom out really, really far and we look down on everything, you'll see that there's a lot of moving parts. But when you look at them closely, the moving parts actually merge into small little units. And what we've done at DWS is we've created a system that creates a symbiotic relationship between all these moving parts, and it creates a genetic code of your business and allows that message or that code to flow through all these moving parts. And the environment that we've created called DWS, domainwebstudio.com, is the production line, it's the interface, it's the console that takes your message and allows you to connect it through all these moving parts. So what happens is basically we're on the home screen now, and if you look at this, you'll see a tab called Empires. And the reason why we call it Empires is because an empire consists of multiple or many states. Now, in the internet world, basically when we think of networks, networks can consist of multiple computers. Now, we want to build up networks of information hubs that basically drive traffic to our website and spread us around the web. So basically the internet is covered with you, your message, your brand, your product, your service, what you do and what you talk about. So what happens is when we look at our empires, it becomes very simple. Within an empire, we can have multiple projects. Each project is essentially a site, it's a website. And we can have as many sites within a project or empire as we really need to build out. So depending on how many rings you build out, you can use the DWS system to merge and mold around whatever you're doing. So say, for example, you build your primary website, but you like using paid traffic like PPC. Then essentially you can actually make a PPC blueprint once you build your primary website that you use to promote PPC, which is separate from doing all the SEO type promotions on your primary. If you'd like to use video, we've got the syndication and promotion blueprint, which helps you promote and merge and do all the promotion work to drive traffic back to your primary. So everything always comes back to the primary website, which would always be the first website that you build in the system. So what I'm going to basically do now is I'm going to drop into a project, and when we open up the node, we can see the project name. This is the theme keyword that we want to get ranked for. We want to own credit repair. What it does, it tells us what web ring we have. So like I said, DWS works with you. If you build complex networks out where you're dealing with different types of promotional rings, and each is a segment of the promotional market, then you can have multiple sites dealing with each part of your market that you're dealing in. Now, what we see over here is the actual process. This is the production line. So we start off with our ISD now. This is a new feature that's going to be coming soon. We'll be in here. We almost finished building it out. I won't speak on it right now. But essentially, we'll start a silo framework. This is where we map out our website architecture. This is where we see how the money flows through the market. This is how we decide what keywords are the most important for our business that defines us for who we are, what our brand is, and what our offerings are. The next thing we've got is the keyword DNA braid, and this is where we connect the very important keywords to each keyword within our silo blueprint. Step 3, we speak to our team, we set up our tasks for our team, and we communicate with our team. So this is all about managing the team. seeing how busy you are, who needs to get more work, who hasn't got enough work, who's swamped. We can manage the whole team there. 4, developing our primary website content. This is for the content that's for our primary website. 5, we export out our website. We use the WP Silo Builder plugin to build our website. I did a video demonstrating where I build a website in 10 minutes from start to finish. The whole site's prepped, ready, tweaked, up and ready to go. So it saves literally days of time in getting your sites live. It's super easy right now. And then finally 6, this is where we promote our website. So as you can see, everything is in a linear process. It's constructed of 6 steps, 7 steps when the ISDNA is introduced. And what it does is it helps you from the beginning to understand what questions are being asked, what are the should-ask questions, what are the pains behind the questions, and then from that we can derive keywords. We take the keywords, we feed in through the silo framework, we map out our blueprint, and then we carry on through the whole process until we start promoting. And in this promotion part here is where we put you across the web in multiple multimedia formats. Sue, Russ, would you like to have anything to say just from the overview from what I've explained at this moment?
I think you're on track. Let's just continue.
Sure. Okay. So why we built this process out? Well, in order to really focus and harness as much as possible out of our business, 80% of the time is research, and then 20% of the time is building. So you can see in the beginning here, we do a lot of research, a lot of connecting dots. Then we set up our team, get them to write the content, and then we publish a site. And like I said, that part there takes literally 10-20 minutes, and then your team basically tweaks the site and makes it nice. Then we go back to writing and promoting, and this is where you spend a lot of your time, driving the traffic back to your website and getting stuff across the web. But going back to step 1, because of the linear process, it now becomes super easy to really think about what you're doing online. Okay? Each step of the process is mapped, and whatever we do in the front gets carried all the way through the process to the end. So data we enter in over here will be available all the way through the process. So I'm going to drop into the Silo Framework screen, and this is where we really start tweaking out our project. Actually, let me go back and just show you what happens when we create a new project. So I'm going to go home, click on Empires. Basically, when we create an empire, we fill in a name and we give an objective for the empire that we're building. Once we build the empire, we can then go and start setting the parameters for this empire. And this is our first site. So when we come in here and we add a new site, we fill in our primary keyword, we fill in all the profile details, we select which web ring it's going to, what search engine. We come back here to what it costs us typically for a backlink, what it costs us for writing an article, and then we put in our traffic funnel. Well, what is our conversion funnel? And this is where it starts becoming very important in DWS. And by setting up the funnel rules up front, it gives us a good indication of what we need to do to actually achieve our goals. So if we say that if we rank in position 1, 2, or 3, roughly 25% of the people will click on our link, and they will come down to our site. When they hit our site, usually we put in a conservative figure over here, and unless you've got the analytics running and you're working on an existing website, if it's a new site here, put 1 in or 0.05, really tone it right down. If you're doing work for local businesses and they've got a service-based business, so basically their business plan is generate leads, the leads come into the office, the sales team picks up the phone, they phone the lead and they convert it. The simple way to ask me is how many sales do you make out of every 10 phone calls that you make? And they'll say, well, roughly 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6. Always take the conservative side and say to them, well, is 4 a good number? If they say yes, then what you'll do is you'll put in 40% over there. What that does, it factors it in and shows you which keywords or how much traffic you need to build to actually make this plan work. The same applies to affiliate marketing. If you're doing an affiliate website, go look at the sales stats and see what the typical conversion rate is on the actual vendor's website that you're sending traffic to. And you'll see lower down in the chart, as you fill in this information, it tells us roughly to achieve $5,000 a month, we need to make basically 50 sales, and it's going to take us 100. For every 100 people that hit the website, we'll create 1 sale. And if we're doing direct sales, we need 5,000 people. If we're doing affiliate sales, we need 12,500 people coming per month to meet our goals to achieve the financial goal. So upfront, DWS basically maps out what you need to achieve monthly to achieve your financial goals. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to go back to the home screen. So once we set up our project and we want to enter into it, we're going to Solid Framework, and this is where we import the keywords. And with DWS, we've created the system to be universal. It's got a universal keyword importer and tools that we've checked out, and we like what they do. We basically put them in there. Some of the tools, there's a lot of people like different keyword tools. And what we've done with DWS is we've given you the ability to import from multiple data sources. So there's a custom template. If we don't have the actual keyword tool listed in our list over here, there's a custom template which you can fill in and put your data in and import it in. But typically what you would do is you would simply come along, select the source, you'd point to the CSV file on the system, import it in, and then it will basically populate your keyword decision screen. So over here in this project, you can see we've got like over 700 keywords that are here ready for adding things in. So this is the master control. This is where we start designing the websites. This is the keyword decision screen. And what this screen basically allows you to do is, 1, map out your blueprint. 2, it's got advanced filters so you can really segment the keyword data set you've got. 3, it allows you to import data from multiple sources. 4, it tells you upfront what keywords are the most profitable based on your business rules. So when we look at this grid here, we can see that poor credit is worth $16,000 a month to us once we ranked. We know that we'll get 161 conversions, and we know roughly how much search volume we'll be getting a month. 5, it gives us a blueprint scorecard, so it keeps track of what the costings and potential profits going to be. And then 6, it basically gives you a traffic scorecard, and it tells you roughly what's the traffic and the average conversion rate based across your entire blueprint that you've mapped out. Now, it's super easy now to start mapping keywords into DWS. It becomes super easy. But before I show you how to do this, I just want to go back to our business rules and filters tab. And this tab here allows us to basically determine how many keywords we want to see on the screen. So if you've got a slow internet connection, you can set it to 30. And what that does, the way DWS works, with the keyword grid is it takes all your keywords, it ranks, filters, and sorts them and pushes them through 17 checks to qualify the keyword to determine what position on the actual grid the keyword's going to come in on it. And it goes and looks for the keywords that have got the highest possibility of meeting your financial goals. So basically the keywords that can make you the most money will float to the top. If you actually want to see what the credit score is, you can click on the chart here, which is a keyword analysis chart, and this is where you can see the traffic to profit funnel. And as we go down, row by row, number by number, we've got all the checks that it does, and we can actually see where things fail. Okay. And when we get to the bottom of the scorecard, based on the scoring of the rules, you get a quality score for that keyword. Okay. Now, one thing to bear in mind is you always have to think about the keyword and think, what does this mean to my business? You will come across keywords that might look great and potentially show a lot of money, but there's multiple things you have to think about. So just because the numbers are high, that's only based on pure conversions, okay, and the modeling of the data. You need to think to yourself, poor credit, what is my website about? Credit repair. Will poor credit be good for my website? is there money flowing through my card, my keyword I'm looking at? So here we can see there's £5.02 per click running through that. So that's got a high buyer intent. This little icon over here shows there's a medium buyer intent. It's 51 cents being spent over there. The little page with the glasses on it, that's an educational keyword. There's not really that much money running through that keyword. Okay, and you can look at the keywords and you can see the difference. So what's great about this screen, it becomes really easy to identify keywords that are good for your business. So when you work in the keyword decision screen, because we're using silo architecture, we can filter our keywords by silos, by categories, and by supporting articles. So we can take these 700 keywords and we can chop them into 3 blocks. When we chop them up, it makes it super easy to actually map out the keywords. So for example, if I look at, where is it? Bad credit. Let's look at the bad credit one. We look at bad credit and we look at how to fix bad credit. We can see our silo, we can see our categories, and we can see our supporting articles. And this gives us our silo architecture. DWS builds it and maps it out for you when you're working with it. So what you do is when you use this keyword decision screen, you can basically say, show me all the silos, click on the theme keyword, and in every single silo that you want, you simply just select what you want. If you don't want to basically put any money into the keyword via promotion, you simply exclude them at this point in time. And what that does is it adjusts your scorecard of your ad. It factors in what you're not going to be paying for when you actually import them in. And the reason for this is sometimes when you're targeting keywords, if we look at and hover over the keyword, with bad credit, it's got 61 million competing pages. It's a big keyword. Needs roughly nearly 1,000 backlinks and needs about 45 articles underneath it. So there's a lot of work that gets to go in to get ranked for that keyword. So you can actually exclude it in the beginning, map out your categories and your supporting articles underneath it, and you can back your way into the market. Now, another important feature that we have in DWS is, going back to the business rules, is the next one, which is the average page rank. This helps us adjust the costings for a project based on page rank. So if you're entering into a niche market and the average page rank's 1 or 2 and the backlinks are pretty hollow, obviously your costs can be a lot less. But let's say you're going to real estate and you want to get ranked for a keyword like property, or if you're going to the debt market we're near and we want to own debt, the websites you're up against that own debt will all be authority websites. They'll be all aged and they'll all be probably page ranks 5 and 6. That gives you a whole different dimension that you've got to deal with. And when you change the settings up to basically page rank 6, if we look at, before we change it back, if we look at poor credit, it's roughly going to cost us $2,300 per month, and we need about 24 articles and 91 supporting backlinks. If we change it up to 6 and we update the system, that $2,300 will increase considerably, as well as your backlinks and your supporting articles. So what happens is DWS moves with you depending on what you're working with and scales up and down. So there we can see per credit has increased by $1,000 in cost. Additional 10 articles are needed, and we need another 40 odd backlinks linking back to that actual page. But it's still profitable if we're going for that keyword. We can see it. If keywords are not profitable, they're indicated in red, and what it does, it says to us by the first red X over here, if we see these, that we're not going to make our money. When we get ranked in positions 1, 2, or 3, it's going to take more than 2 months to get our money back, i.e. when we say our money back, the cost involved. So from the profit we make, less what we do, it's going to take longer than 2 months. But it's still profitable within a year. So then you can actually think, okay, cool, we have to invest a bit more time with this keyword, but within a year we should make a profit off that keyword. Okay. Sue, would you like to say anything on the screen, or Russell?
Looks like we're pretty good. I'm not sure if Sue's still on the call. We should just continue because we've got a lot to cover. You're doing a great job.
Sure. Okay, no worries. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but just the top level.
Did we lose Matt?
Yes, apparently we did.
When this page loads,
Hey, Matt?
Oh, there you are.
yeah?
Matt, I think the entire group probably lost you for about a minute. So just go ahead and reverse back to when you asked me the question, if I wanted to comment, and then begin again.
All right. Okay. Basically, what I said there was, from a top-level overview, what DWS does is, 1, it allows you to import any keyword. 2, it allows you to rapidly build out solid structured sites. 3, with the filters, we can take large data sets of like 1,000 or 2,000 keywords, and we can actually cherry pick the keywords we want. So yeah, we've got 3 keywords containing our poor credit. 4, it works through your browser, so if you want to see where you got poor on your website, you can use the built-in search functions within DWS, within Firefox, to highlight things, and it brings you the best keywords to the top, and it tells you what keywords are going to be profitable and which ones are absolute waste of time. You'll actually not make any money back on them. So if we look at repair poor credit, it's 256,000 pages, but there's only 10 people searching on that, and you'll make no conversions just based on the way it is. Doesn't matter what you do, but it's going to end up costing you $1,400 to get ranked for the keyword because you're dealing with a PageRank 6 domain. Then what's the point of even wasting your time here? So this is what's great about it. It shows us how to build a profitable network, a profitable website. When we click on these nodes, you'll see you've got little green ticks that tell us if the keyword's really good. Now, we get a lot of questions, guys, about, okay, how can I use DWS? I've got an existing site. Well, that's not a problem. Typically what I tell guys, if they want to look at and do audits on their own private website that they've built, take the keywords that are in your primary navigation. So if we just go, and let's just type in poor credit here. And if we click on Money Supermarket, for example, these are one of the authority sites that dominate the debt industry in the UK. So you can see there, Money Supermarket, refuse credit, and if we look at this here, what you want to do is you want to look at so in Money, and in Money, here's all the keywords. Take all these keywords, put them in a list, run it through a keyword tool, and then map out your site structure in DWS. And what that does is it allows you to quickly mirror your own website over here. You can look for missed opportunities from the keywords that you've brought in. You can import more keywords, identify where there's better keywords in the system, merge them and graft them into your existing blueprint, and you can reshuffle how your blueprint works and get the silo architecture all in place. This is really, really important. Alternatively, if you don't want to do that and you want to you're dealing with a client, you can create a bolt-on silo, what we call bolt-on silo, and this is where if the client wants to target a particular theme, you can create a single silo with the supporting articles and the supporting categories, map it out, and you can take that, and if they've got a WordPress installation, we can actually bolt it by importing the information in with all the new content, and then using the menus feature in WordPress, you can actually link that in and bolt that silo structure onto the side of their website. So this is extremely versatile and it's super rapid to map up these sites. So if we want to build a 5 structured solid site and we've got our keywords, our top level solid keywords, we simply click on those nodes and we say move to blueprint. All these keywords will get shifted in. We can then go and say, okay, we want to have all the categories that contain our keyword with bad credit, set up filter, click on with bad credit, check all the keywords you want, say move, and it shifts everything in place. Then we can say, okay, cool, we want to actually add synonyms and supporting keywords to the blueprint we can just check them, and we click any of these two buttons here, and they will bolt in the synonyms. So when we click on the View the Silo Framework Blueprint there, this gives us a spreadsheet look and feel of our whole silo structure. We can actually see the silos, the categories, we can see the supporting articles, supporting keywords that are supporting with bad credit. And as we move down through this, you can see how everything gets connected through this look over here. So in summary, the silo framework keyword, this part of the process is where we design the silo framework, the website architecture of our site. This is where we assign the best keywords. This is where we assign the keywords that hold traffic and have high pay-per-click value and they mean a lot to our business. And we merge everything together. From this point, the next step we're going to go into is the DNA braid. And the DNA braid is simply an edit screen where we go and refine our message and our genetic code for our silo architecture. Now, when we talk about DNA, DNA means made up of. And when we look at with bad credit as a keyword, and we click on the keyword, it opens up the synonymic keyword that we assigned to the keyword, and it gives you the ability to add your own custom synonyms and supporting keywords to the system. So when we look at this keyword, we've got with bad credit, and by default the system will assign what contextual keywords you should use in your copy when you write. That's your primary DNA braid. These are the keywords that must be contextually on the page. Next is the synonyms, and you can see I've added 3 custom synonyms over here with the system. If you want to add more and you haven't got them in your keyword grid but you want to add other variations of words, you can simply type them in one by row, add them, and then supporting keywords, the same principle. We've got our default supporting keywords. I've added 2 custom supporting keywords, and I've simply done it by typing in here and adding them, or I've done it on the promotional blueprint screen. The other tab, what it does here is if you want to import your competitor data and keep track of who you're dealing with, on the competitor data screen, you can simply click on this little icon over here. This opens up the importer. It imports keywords from the last keyword tool, Keyword Elite, Market Samurai, and SEM Rush. It has to be CSV format, and what it does is, depending on what tool you use, it presents you with the information, and this is a way of keeping track of who your competitors are on the keyword. In future systems upgrades, we're going to be building in our own rank tracker, which will bring in the competitor data and all this kind of stuff for you, and will enhance this even more. But currently what it shows us is a global assessment of the competitors. So we can see roughly that page-wise, these are big forum type of websites. They've got a lot of content on the pages on an average. The average page rank in this market is 3.29 across all the keywords in our blueprint. We can see by keyword what's got the highest page rank, and then we can see the market share. Which companies own the largest market share. So for example, if I click on that node there, MoneySavingExpert.com owns 13.39% of most of the rankings within our blueprint. So we know who we're up against. So when you look at this, this helps you think about the keywords that you want to target. You can go look at that page that's ranked and see what keywords they're using. And this, here in the DNA braid, this is where you can go really refine and hone the synonymic set that you're binding to your specific keyword. Because remember, in DWS, we zoom out from a top level, we work all our way in, and then we get right down to a very granular level where each keyword that's in our blueprint, essentially we've made a decision to put it there because we want to invest money into getting ranked for the keyword to get the traffic and the rankings. And we're creating a synonymic set around every single keyword. So why is this important? Well, with the Panda updates and what's been going on in the search engines, relevance is very, very important. So the page, which is point A, with bad credit, this is where you want to send traffic to. When the traffic comes from point B over here, wherever you promote it and you put your content on there, you want to have the same synonymic keywords on point B. You want to use the synonymic DNA braid in your anchor text, linking back to with bad credit. Okay. And DWS manages this for you. It keeps track of what keywords are important. it keeps track of this. So when you come to promote, it tells your writers, okay, use these keywords on the page. This is the backlink you need to use on this page. And it pulls out trackable URLs, and I'll show you this shortly when you get this.
Yeah,
so
and also, Matt, speaking to the issue at hand with Penguin and the risk updates, also link diversity is, as many of you probably read, is a major issue, which is managed hands-free with this as well.
Yeah. You'll see how easy it is when I show you the content. So this is brilliant. So when we look at this, we click on this node over here, and this page opens up. We can go to this page and we can look at what are the important keywords they're focusing on, and we can make sure, have we got that keyword in our synonymic set. So this way we can go blow for blow against our competitors using what the language they're using, which they spend time fine-tuning to get ranked for. Okay. We can see over here we've got an average page rank of 4 on this website. And over here we can use this to find missed opportunities. A lot of these big portal type of websites will allow you to advertise and drive traffic from their website to your website. So just because they're a competitor, it doesn't mean they're your enemy. They could be actually your best ally. And what we want to do in this day and age is we want to diverse, 1, our anchor text portfolio, 2, our traffic portfolio. Those are the 2 most important things. Backlinks are byproducts of your promotional activities. It's not the focus. And if you put all your eggs into Google's basket, as soon as they make a tweak, you get your house shaken. With DWS, we developed it and designed it that Google becomes one traffic source in an array of multiple different traffic sources, and we track and measure everything within the system. So at the end of the day, you want to have basically traffic from Google, traffic from other search engines, traffic from some of our competitors who are ranked, whether it be by tapping into the AdSense on their pages and buying that traffic. We want traffic from paid networks. We want traffic from our content. We want traffic from our websites, videos, and we want traffic from our press releases. We're going to drive traffic from all kinds of places using our synonymic set, and this is what gets us across the web with our brand in all places where people are. So this process is really interesting because this is where you really start to think about your business and refine ideas. And if you want to change something, you simply go back and tweak it, and any changes you make get pushed all the way through the system. So the next step is team management. We've gone and built our website, we've mapped out our silo architecture, we're happy with what we got, the client signed it off, we've mapped out our DNA braid, we know who we're up against, we've got a solid idea of what we're going to do. Now we're going to start talking to our team. And what DWS does is it basically, as you add your team, as soon as you assign one task to one of your team members, they will get a task ticket against them, and you can actually it'll start tracking their workload. Now on this screen, on this very one screen, you can see staff who are overworked and staff who are being managed. Okay, so I've got 175 hours available. I've got 171 hours worth of work I have to get completed for this month. Sarah's only got 15 hours available, but she's got 56 hours worth of work for this month. Something is wrong with this picture. What is going on here? And then you can actually go in and have a look. So on credit repair, this project, on credit repair, Sarah's got 56 hours of work. Why is she behind? Is it because she's behind, or have I just assigned too much work to her, forgetting that she can only do 15 hours a week? And we've got the little alarm clock showing you as indicators all the way through where you assign work. You'll be able to see who needs work done, who's got too much work. And when you're in a situation like this where the first guy's maxed out, the second guy is maxed out probably 3 times, we can see that Sarah's 273% maxed out. I've got like 2% availability left, so I'm nearly at 98% full. This is where you can actually start looking for teams. So you can look at yourself. These are my internal guys. These are guys working with me. I can ping them emails if they're behind any work, because what this does is on the system, it keeps track of the current month's worth of work and any backlog that you have. It never looks forward. It only looks at this month and whatever you've not done from the last month and brings it forward. As your team finish work, the red bar decreases. So if you've got a team of 10 or 12 guys, you can very quickly see who's actually having a free ride and who's being very productive. and you can just tweak and control everything from here. If you need to find more team members, we've built in a Find Outsourcing Staff module, and this is a directory where you can find if there's a lot of little things that are taking up your team's time, which can actually be outsourced really cheaply. You can use this screen to actually find guys who specialize in doing that particular type of task. Now, it's a long list of categories within here, and each one, a lot of them linked to Fiverr, where we've gone and actually looked at all the little mini tasks that you can do. And you could free up your team to do more important work on your business by outsourcing the niggly stuff that is mundane and simple to do for a Fiverr. A Fiverr is not a lot of money, but it essentially means you can get a lot of work done in one day, which will take your team maybe a week to do. So if you've got 30 tasks and you identify that there's 30 tasks and you get done, each task is an hour, it makes sense spending $150 and outsourcing all those little tasks to free up 30 hours worth of work for one of your team, where they can write content, or they can fine-tune your website, or they can find better places to drive traffic from. So this is what's great about DWS, is it gives you the core information that you need to make decisions. You just got to find guys that can do those little tasks, and as soon as they've done them, you pay them Fiverr, you mark the task off, and essentially you've won back a lot of time in one day. And to outsource and assign it work, it takes you maybe an hour of your time, but it means that you're using leverage. You got 80% of the work done by someone else. You freed up Sarah's time, and she can focus more important things. So that's typically the team management. If you need to send them a communication, you just click on the Outlook icon, and this basically allows you to create a new task simply by filling in this form. And you can blind carbon copy people in, or carbon copy people into conversations. So if you want to send a message to 3 people, you can broadcast to the 3 people by simply placing a comma after each email. And what this does is on your home screen when you log into your project, so when we go back to home, any communications that we create over here, if you're going to send someone an email, it gets put as a high priority, and it's not buried into a project. It's actually kept in here, and it's got a tracking system that tracks the time from the date that it's been issued to when it's due. And if it gets behind, it's not completed, the time goes red, it flags up that this is behind schedule. And from here, you can actually send an email, or you can contact the person, and it helps you keep track of all the important notes, especially if you're working on multiple projects and you've got multiple people working for you and you're outsourcing to multiple people around the place. That system makes it really easy and contained to keep track of everybody. So the next part of the process is content. This is where a lot of people get hung up. And what I like about this new system is that it's made it super easy to actually write and manage the content. And with DWS, our silo structure follows us all the way through the process, okay? So we can actually see what's going on where, okay, and what's been written and what's not been written. And the way we can see this is simply by green ticks. The more green ticks means the more done. Wherever we see the edit pencil on the page, it means it has to be written. And wherever we see the little red dot with the minus sign, it means it's not been ordered or assigned to a person. And it's very, very simple to use. Little process, order content, comes up with a form. We can select who the person is going to write the article over there. We can define which web ring this content is going to. We can define the quality of the content. So is it just a spun article? Is this actually a premium article using our paying article method that we've developed? Okay. We can define how many words for the article, how many hours are getting allocated, and what's the rate per hour we're going to pay this person for writing the content. Then we've got our template system.
Hey, Matt?
And what this does is, yes?
Is that rate per hour or rate per unit?
Per unit, sorry.
Okay.
The per hour.
Rate per hour.
What this does is, yeah, it's how many hours, and then what's the cost for the unit. Because this manages the time. If we're going to allocate 3 hours to the worker, it then takes the 3 hours and adds it to the total of what they got available.
Okay.
And then this is for the unit. The cost is for the unit.
Okay.
So typically you charge a person $25 for one article that takes them an hour to write. If they're going to write a 10-hour article, it's like a big thesis or white paper or something like that, you might have a custom agreement with them, and you could say, this, okay, we agree it's going to cost you, we'll pay you $150 to write that document.
Right.
So it manages the time of how much time has been allocated to a person that's doing the work, and then it gives you the flexibility of setting whatever price you've agreed for that unit price.
Good.
Okay, now with a template, this gives us the ability of, I've clicked on a link to create custom templates, and this is really great. With the pain article method, what it does is it gives you, Russell's developed a whole system to basically speak to the pains in the market and how to write the articles. And you can create custom templates which you paste into the AI, and as you add them in, what it'll do, it'll keep record of this template, and it gives you 2 blocks here. So in this block here, you can basically take your YouTube code or whatever place you upload your video to, and you can actually embed your video, and you can actually show your guys what you wanted to do. Then you can actually define the template style of how they must use the headlines, how they must write the body, and what are the keywords they've got to use to write the stuff. And when you save this, when we come to assign content, if we select the 3 ways to achieve template, when we assign it to this batch of articles, each batch of content that we order, that will actually get injected into it. So when the writer comes to write and he opens up his task, that template will be prepped and ready, sitting there waiting for him, and he can actually look at that, and he can also see the instruction, the video instruction of what you expect from him. So this becomes very good when you're working with outsourcing people. You can tell them exactly what you want.
Yeah, and that's also very useful for those of you who've been participating in helping me organize the new content and features that we're dealing with, specifically with multi-channel and multimedia. There's no limits. A lot of the times we get stuck in thinking of content, but we can use any kind of multimedia. We can assign any kind of content behavior or task with these templates, not just the writing articles and the press release templates, but also transcriptions, insert videos, and Matt will get into this shortly. But it's just really important to remember that multimedia is becoming essential in the new online broadcasting environment, and you can manage all of that and reduce your time by thousands of hours per month by diversifying yourself across all those different kinds of websites and on your own network as well. I really am excited about that.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It makes it so easy. And for outsourcing, the whole thing why outsourcing doesn't work is because the rules of engagement aren't clearly defined when people get assigned tasks. And if you give clarity and you give a video and you tell them exactly what you expect, and so now you use a place like Odesk or any of these other places, you can basically define what you want and have them log into DWS. I'll show you the system for the team people shortly, but they'll log in and they'll see exactly what you expect from them. Now, at the time of this webinar, I just want to say to you guys, we constantly work every single day on the system, and it's evolving rapidly. So you might come back in 2 weeks' time and there'll be new modules in DWS and new things. And I just want to point that out, that it's always changing. For the guys who've been with us from the beginning, they've gone through like nearly 40 iterations and updates and changes in the last 2 years with the system. So the way this works is we define the rules of what we're looking for. We then come along and we choose the articles that we want. So here you can see the silos, the categories, and supporting articles. And if you're building your website out silo by silo, then it becomes really easy to do this now, because essentially you can just come along and you can actually choose a silo. So I'm going to take the credit check silo and I'm going to build that out next. So this is the next task that the client wants me to do, or I want to do. I just want to build it out. So I order my content, and as the page loads, this opens up the outsourcing manager screen. And what we do here is this gets issued a batch number, and depending on how many keywords we've selected, it gets put into a batch. And we've got a default generic template in here which you can use for outsourcing. And just to cover this, all you're basically saying is, you're clearly saying what do you expect, what's acceptable, what's not allowed, and further information. It could be links to videos, or you can essentially, once again, just delete that, get rid of everything, and just drop, by pressing source, you can drop your YouTube code in there, or your GoToMeeting code, or whatever it is, whatever you want to do, you can actually stick that in there and then post it off. If you use TechSmith, Snagit, and all that kind of stuff, you can stick your screenshots in. You can clearly define what you want here, but we do recommend that you actually give timelines and give all the information the people are using. It doesn't matter whether it's internal, it doesn't matter if it's outsourcing. It's very important when you're working with your staff to clearly define what's expected from them. It does two things. One, it actually gives them comfort because they're clear on what they need to do. They don't have to think too hard. And two, if things go wrong, you can always refer back to the documentation and say, look, this is what we've needed. So it doesn't turn into a big argument of who said what, when, and why. It's in black and white. That's what's been asked. That's what you need to deliver. And it's case closed. And that also saves you a lot of money. It saves, if there's an argument in outsourcing and the guy wants payment and he wants to release your source code or whatever, you can use this and refer back to it and send it in. And the arbitrator will basically take that information and say, okay, cool, this has been clearly defined. Now, if you use a place like Odesk, simply just copy and paste whatever you've written here and put it into their system. And then at least you've got a record on your system tied to a keyword or a batch of keywords, and it's linked to a person that you're assigning the work to. So we click Send Instruction, and what this will do is when you set the person up in the system, you put in their email, this will actually ping them an email and they'll get a notice you got more work. Okay, so when we come back now, as a project manager, we know we've ordered the content. As a person working for myself, I know, okay, cool, I've done that. I've still got to write these ones. So it doesn't matter who you are or what you are or who you work with. When you look at the screen, when you got the two text, it means it's been ordered, it's been written. It's been ordered, it's to be written, and if it's just like that with nothing, it's not been ordered. Very simple. And you can actually see who it's been assigned to, what date is it due, what type of article it is, and what is the actual status. So you can see everything very, very clear. Now, the screens you see over here when we order content and we come to work on the content is the same. What you see here is the same as what your team will see. And the way you work on this screen is the same as how they'll work on their screen. The only difference is they won't see the process, they will only see home and help desk. They'll only get a limited view of what you're actually doing. So from an outsourcing perspective, your whole IP, your whole design, your whole blueprint, everything that you build into your business is not exposed to them. They only see tasks. Okay. Now to write this article, we simply click on the edit icon over here. And when the page loads, depending on what keywords we brought forward from the system, it will actually show us our supporting keywords, our synonyms, and our contextual keywords. So when the author's writing, they can basically drag anything from here and they can just drop it into the screen and we'll keep it there. When they write their headlines, it's all pre-formatted, so whatever they say, it'll put everything in camel case so that when you save the document, it's actually been formatted for you. So it gives you a nice proper headline where things in camel case. They write their content in here, or if you're doing the work yourself, you just write your article in here, you tweak out your project name, you fill in the meta title keywords, and you can see we're pre-populating a lot of the places with the meta keywords, whatever is ready. And we can come in here and work on the meta description, the synopsis. Now, what's important, the reason why we built this little block out in this fashion, okay, your title of your page directly refers to the information that Google lists, okay, and the description supports the title. So there we got the description and we got the title of the page. This is where you got to think really carefully on your elevator pitch or the irresistible offer, okay, in your description, because the description basically needs to sell what the title says, and the title needs to catch the person's attention. the more you can refine this and the better you can make the description and the title of your page, the more people will click on your links, which will help and boost your rankings. So those two description fields are often overlooked, but they're very important features that you need to think about. And we cover this in our members area. We talk about the irresistible offer and how to craft good headlines and how to write good descriptions. Sue's got one called the elevator pitch, and if you've got 1 minute to basically say what your business does, that's what you would do in the elevator pitch.
Now, we also have very advanced, probably some of the most advanced information on this in the world. I'm strongly influenced by Dr. Glenn Livingston and have a huge background in research. So part of the painkiller article method and the rest is all about making sure that your conversion headline is matching the keyword in the description. So we're matching this to the upcoming Cora software, which is extracting questions, and we'll be going over that in next week's webinar.
Yeah. So that's it. Once you've written your article, you simply click Create Article, and the system takes the article and moves from your current tasks into your completed tasks for this month. If you want to see what your team's been working on, you can click on the completed tasks and you can just look and see who's doing what, when, and why. If the article is behind schedule, what will happen on the screen is it'll actually put up a little red flag. You'll see a little red flag pop up. Bonk. This is late. So you can actually see it and you can speak to the person who's got to do that work and find out what's going on. And this helps you really manage your project more effectively. So the content writing screen is really simple. And like I says, we started off zooming right out, look at the whole picture, and we're going right down granularly to the actual content, and it's super easy to write the content. Now, the more refined you make stuff in DWS, the faster it makes getting your website live, okay? So when we come to build our website, there's so many ways. I get asked all these questions of, right, how can I make money with DWS? And you can make money with DWS from every single point of the system, right up to building the website. On the Silo Framework screen, you essentially can do audits on people's keyword lists and tell them what's profitable and what's not profitable. Or you can use it as a lead into your business to actually sell. So you say to the guys, give me your top 50 keywords, we'll look at them and we'll see what are the missed opportunities. You put them in the keyword decision screen and you present them with the data, which you can export out of DWS from the keyword grid, and you can sit and have a chat with them and show them where they're actually missing the money. That then can lead into you actually creating a blueprint. You can then map out a blueprint for them by either doing a bolt-on silo, or you can actually mirror their whole structure into the thing, and you can actually show them where they've actually themed their website wrong and how they've connected the things wrong, and tell them, look, for $1,000 we'll create a new blueprint which shows you how to map out things correctly. And you can spend 1 or 2 days and you can push as a blueprint, and you can send them either the export, which gives them the structure, or you can say to them, look, would you like us to basically create a blog which we can then do for you? So it depends on how your business works. If they want a blog, they don't want you to touch the thing, or they want you to do it on an open domain, you can basically mirror out the whole silo structure, export it out, take the XML file and import it into a blog, and you give them an empty blog where they can go in and they can actually write the content. Other people basically sign up their clients as team members because the client wants to write information. So they create the blueprint, the client writes the content, and then they come back and they build the website for the client and get it all looking pretty and nice. So then you set up the client as a team member and you assign all the content with the team. He logs into DWS, writes the content. When he's finished, he says to you, okay, I've done my job. You can actually see what he's doing from your control panel over here. You can then come and export out all the information, build the website, and you take everything that he's built and you hoover it in. So the more time you put into writing the content and refining it and making it really good, that totally reduces the actual time you come to build your website, because with the XML file and the Silo WordPress plugin, it brings everything with it. So it brings the title, it brings the description, it brings the synopsis, it brings the meta keywords, it brings the content, it brings everything, and it builds the whole website out for you. And I did a video where I built this website in 10 minutes. And this is just a dummy website we built up. But what you can see here is literally in 10 minutes, we've mapped out this whole website and our whole solid structure is all in place, all prepped and ready. Now, if you have to manually go and do this and create each page and copy the content in and then connect the associations between each page, you can't really do it with WordPress unless you know how. It's super complex with the WordPress framework to create solid structured web pages. With a plugin, it's done in minutes. So typically you can build a website in 10 minutes for your client, which would usually take you a few days just to map it out, or quite a lot of time. So you're making savings over there, but you can still charge your client the same price. So this is how the system makes you money. It's a really, really powerful tool, and it works really fast and it's really rapid. So when we come to mirror out our website and build a website, you can see over here that there we've got the content written, we've got content ordered, but now let's pretend the client said they're going to write it and they want to do it when the blog's live. So we just published those pages with the blue wall and the green arrow pointing up. That shows us published locations. Okay. And what you can do with this process is, if you're building out your website silo by silo, you simply click the keywords you want to publish and you click publish. As soon as you do that, that unlocks the nodes. Okay. And there you can see we published another silo. This will actually appear within our silo blueprint XML file. So when I click on this to open up the file, there we can see the structure. There's the content, there's a whole article, there's all the metadata in there that we've done. So it takes everything, and the plugin just takes that and builds up the whole website. Super easy. It's just ridiculous how easy it is. And this is why building websites fast with DWS has become, building big networks out has become really possible with this, and managing these networks has become really possible with this, because a task that you should take up to 10, 15 hours to do is now done in seconds. Okay, so once stuff's published, there's not much other than what the screen does. This just keeps track of what you published and how you've done it. And one thing that happens is when you start promoting a keyword, okay, the checkbox disappears and locks it down. So you can't, because there'll be content written and all kinds of stuff associated with that keyword. So once you start promoting stuff, it locks it down. If these two here have not been promoted yet, they're not been promoted, we can actually unpublish them and remove them if we don't want to work on that right now. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you want to build out your supporting articles, you need to basically take the parents with, just based purely because of how the website silo architecture works. To see categories, you need to have the silo, and to see supporting articles, you need to have the parent category. So you have to publish that tree structure, that connection, to get those launched first. That's one thing you need to do, so just keep that in mind. Okay. So now I'm going to come to the big part of the system. This is a promotional plan, and what we got here is when we land on this page, it shows us our promotions, what keywords we can start working on. We can see which ones have got content written. Okay, so none of those aren't even ordered yet. They haven't been written, so we know we can't promote those yet. We have to get the content in place. We've got those two that are prepped and ready, and we can start promoting those if we want. We've not locked the system down purely because of there's so many different ways you can make money and how you deal with your clients. It's kept loose so that you've got the freedom to use the tool how you want to use it. Okay, so now the promotional plan. This is where we take everything that we put in place in the first 5 steps, and we're going to push this through the web now. This is how we're going to syndicate our message, us, our brand, everything we're doing across the web for each keyword that we have classed as being important enough to put into our silo framework. Each keyword essentially is a campaign, and this is each one is a promotional project on its own. If you're going to put this into your blueprint, it must be worth investing time and money into. Otherwise, don't put it in. There's no point in doing that unless you're making information-based website blog that drives traffic to your primary. But the point of this whole story is, if you're going to put this in here, you want to promote it. So why the promotional screen, and how does it work? This carries a whole step of tasks, but it's broken down into 6 steps basically. And the way this works is, you start off with setting up a promotional project. Next, we create a promotional plan. Now, if you're dealing with a client, this is a really powerful sales tool. You can clearly define to your client what happens when they do certain things and how much it's going to cost them to promote and how you can demonstrate savings for them. Next, we create account creation. This keeps track of all your accounts and all your keywords, your account login details. So you don't have to have spreadsheets everywhere. When your team comes to promote stuff, if your accounts are created, they get automatic access to that account. It's right there and then. There's no more people taking stuff and saving it off a dedicated place onto their local machine, changing passes, locking you out of your own business. That's all resolved with this screen over here. Assigning promotional tasks. This screen basically is where we assign the promotional content writing, and in the next point release we'll be assigning, you'll be able to assign a writer and you'll be able to assign tasks to a publisher. Okay, this is where the content gets written for promotion, and in this stage over here, DWS auto assigns the anchor text for you. It manages your anchor text auto assigning. It manages the backlink portfolio that way. It creates a trackable URL for you with the anchor text, and it creates a version that's not trackable. So if you don't want to have trackable parameters in your backlinks, you don't have to. And then when we publish, this is where the guys take the content and they publish it out. Now, in the next point release as well, this is where the spinner tool is going to get built in. Russell will have a quick chat about that, why it's so good. But this is the area we'll put in. And then finally, our RSS feed, the one feed to rule them all. Everything we do over here essentially gets pushed into a customized URL, which is a dedicated XML RSS feed that comes out of DWS and goes through the syndication channels. This feed is for every single project. So if you've got 10 projects within an empire, you'll have 10 feeds out to manage each batch of promotional content. Okay, and you can plug those into different places, and we go through this in detail in our training area, telling you how to get the most out of this, and this is what makes it really powerful. So I'm going to quickly take you through this and show you how it works. So the first thing we want to do over here is set up a promotional plan, and depending on what you're doing, you'll map out what you have to do. So are you doing business to business? Are you doing business to consumer sales? Are you dealing with local, national, or international? Who's your audience? You got to know who you're dealing with here, and this is why you put checkboxes, so you actually think and check, okay, this is what I'm doing. Next, we've got Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, article directory, Ungili, and PR Web. The competitive promotional factor is simply a tool that allows you to click on Twitter, for example, and it opens up the Twitter stream, and you can see your primary keyword you're targeting, what's been said and done. I'm just going to click on Ungili, and I'm going to click on Twitter just to give you examples. So what it does is it puts our keyword in phrase match, and we can actually see what people are saying, and if we follow their links, we can get a feel for where people are going with the Twitter feeds, what they're talking about, and where they're sending their traffic to. Okay, and just by digging around on this page, you can actually see what's going on and how important this all is, okay, to your market, and you'll pick up who your competitors are that are actually using tweets. So this is how we start reverse engineering what's going on the tweet feed and what's being said. With Ungili here, this gives us a nice quick scan of webs, blogs, news groups, news, video, discussions, buzz, Q&A, reviews, and real time. So everything's done in phrase match. We can see there's 700,000 results. On the blogs, we can see 3 million. One thing to pay attention to is recency. You want to see and pay attention to when the last post was done. And as you move through this list, just pay attention to the times and click through a few links just to go down and see how consistent are they posting, because this will give you an idea of what you've got to get up against. What's happening in the news? What's been going on? Recency, headlines. If you click on a little snap preview, it shows you more details specific to that post over there. You can pick up on people's comments. If people have actually left comments, you can go and read and see what they're asking or saying. If we jump to discussions, what's happening here? What are people talking about? What are the questions they're asking? If we look at video, once again, we can click on that and we can see what videos are coming on. Who's sending the videos? When was it published? This gives you a really good feel of how consistent your market that you're approaching actually communicates via the different feeds or mechanisms that the web consists of in this time. I mean, real-time search, we can just watch that and see what's coming in through posts and links. You can see what people, so there's the Twitter feeds, and we can actually watch how it streams, and you can see what's going on. So this becomes really important. And then obviously you got your Google ads on the side. You can see who's promoting what, where, and how. So by doing this, it gives us a feel. Now we can decide on how we're going to promote our stuff. So what you want to do is basically come in here and put in your website. Just follow the rules over there, because this will help. If it's a WordPress website, this will help DWS actually construct the trackable URLs that will be used when you build it up with the Silo plugin builder. It actually builds up the trackable URLs for you. We then can put in our promotional costs per unit. So what does it cost to create one video? What does it cost for a press release? So forth. Think about your costs here and put them in. This gives you accountability and tracks all your promotions. So when you come to invoice your client, you've got a complete record of what you've done, how much it's cost you, and you can put your markup on it. In next point release, we're working on a module called the Quote Engine, and this is a reporting tool that is going to basically bring all this metadata forward from a business perspective, keeping track of everything that costs you, and you can use it to give quotes to clients and all kinds of stuff. It's really, really cool. That'll probably come out with the PKMM, which is the Perpetual Keyword Motion Machine, which does the rank tracking, the analytics, and all that kind of stuff. That'll be out in the next month or two, probably 2 months, I think. We should have that done, dusted. For this project, if it's local, what is the primary company detail address? Because this information will be used when the guys start doing the local promotions. Your elevator pitches, a short one, a long one, a CEO description. What bio picture do you want to use for profiles? So taking this, we simply update the costs and all this information, and that sets up the plan. And next, we've put in a third-party promotional stuff for banners and creatives. At this point, before you start doing your promotions, you really need to start thinking about your banners and what is your promotional content from a visual perspective. Russ, would you like to have a quick 5 minutes on that, because that's quite important to what we're doing here?
On which one?
I've got you the link with Banner at Rockstar.
Okay, that's just a third-party. Yeah, that's a third-party software that we're involved with. I really don't want to get into too much to it on this webinar, but the challenge is that we have a very sophisticated process called the Perpetual Lead Magnet Machine, where we actually take you through the entire process of finding a pain in the market and understanding the pain behind your questions, and then those questions are transformed from frequently asked questions to should ask questions. One of the biggest challenges that our members have always had through the years is understanding the difference between what the market is already asking, which is all the questions and FAQs and so on and so forth. But you know, again, the frequently asked questions are really just the entrance into the market. They're really not what creates distinction and ultimately conversion, thus lowering your cost per click. So really what we've done is we lead you through this entire process, which is really not seen by giving you a direct demo of the software itself, because these are the systems theories and the direct processes and the precise process maps of actually increasing the lifetime value and lowering the cost to acquire a lead by hundreds of percentages. And so the reason I relate to this here is and around the Banner Rockstar Power Suite, our friend John and other folks who we partner with, who you'll meet in the private members area, is that creatives are becoming an integral and intimate part of the web, as many of you are probably aware, with the new addiction to pictograms, infographics, the never-ending Facebook walls of memes and images. There's a huge multimedia environment that's emerging that has never been set up the way that it has before. So the Banner Rockstar Power Suite is one of many tools that once we have led you through the process of creating distinction in the market, moving from the frequently asked questions, which you will have to cover, and those become part of the keywords, and into the actual distinction, you're going to be ready by the time that you enter into this module to start creating your images and banners that actually close. You really don't want to create images and banners until you've gone through the entire Domain Web Studio process. And this is something that's cost me, tens of thousands of dollars and huge amounts of trial and error across ad networks and the rest to learn. So there's everything that we have in the system, everything that Matt has placed in here is timed perfectly for you to understand, for you to profit most effectively and start thinking about it at the appropriate time. When you combine what we have here with the members area, you'll see that we've carefully fine-tuned the process of creating and leveraging the conversation that's happening inside your prospect's head into a highly technical environment. Okay?
Yeah, because remember with the system, exactly what Russell said there, it's a process. The whole thing about DWS, it's a process, and everything is managed. And if you have to try and think of everything, you've got to have a systems mind. You have to be able to scale out, look at the whole thing, and understand how all the moving parts work, which is very difficult for a lot of business people.
It is, and it's a little bit tricky because remember, a keyword is nothing but a micro conversation happening in someone's head, who is and ideally they're in a state of pain. And I say pain meaning your job is to solve that pain. And behind all this technical stuff, behind all the amazing planning and systems integration that Matt and Sue created here, through the entire process we lead you through, we're trying to make sure that you can leverage that on a massive scale. It's really incredibly powerful to build out a personal broadcasting and online conversion network, traffic network here. And there's nothing like it before. And I know I really want to. I don't want to sound overly hypey here, but there's nothing like what has been created here, and I'm really passionate and excited about it. So, again, that's when it comes to Banner Rockstar PowerScript. That's just one of many tools we have. Because by the time you get to this point, your outsourcing team is going to be ready, whether it's creating images for the ad networks, whether it's any of these other things. All of this is the time where you're going to be able to scale massively and 100% more effectively than most of the other systems out there. So.
Remember I said to you earlier on that Google becomes one channel of traffic in your business. Remember, DWS is designed to build a business online. It's designed to take a market and break it down into a structure and then create campaigns for each important keyword within that market so that you can get ranked and own it. That's just from the Google perspective. But then now with the promotional side of things, we've dealt with the technical SEO stuff here. We refined our message and the important keywords over here. We've set our team up. Our team's got along and built the content. We've put the website online. We've published it. We've fine-tuned it. If we wanted to, we've driven some traffic to it through pay-per-click and all that kind of other stuff. Now we have to wait for our website to get ranked, and it has to hop through all the Google loops. So typically you're looking at like a 90-day to 120 days to get keywords ranked, depending on how competitive they are. But that does not mean that you can't start getting traffic tomorrow. That does not mean that you can talk to people in LinkedIn and find business partners who can actually start driving traffic through to your website via conversations and JV partnerships that you've set up. Now, the whole point of the promotional plan is to take, like if we take LinkedIn as an example, let's just say you've got a business-to-business solution that you're providing to clients and you're looking for guys to sell your product. Just by clicking that link, it's taken me into LinkedIn with my keyword, and I can see that there's 35,000 people associated with credit repair. How many of these people are potential brokers who actually sell policies and may find your product interesting within your country? So by spending an hour of your time there and then starting to create conversations with those people and sending them to content within your structure, you essentially could open up a network of people who become avid broadcasters for you, and they present stuff, and the reason why they do it is because they can make money with you. That way you start building your business, and this is what we're all about. It's not just about getting ranked or having a website or getting ranked into Google. That's only one channel. There's multiple channels, and when we say broadcast systems, it means we're taking your business and we are broadcasting you across the web, and we're going to expose as much traffic channels as we possibly can to start driving traffic to our website from day one.
So exactly.
And this is why we've got this process.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly right, is that the traffic does need to get turned on right away because the traffic is a signal. And this is why Matt's got it designed so that it actually tells you when it's been done, when the content's been done, because I start driving traffic immediately. And not only that, a lot of the process that we've taken everyone through, you already have promotional material using our ISDNA process and our pain behind the question and all these other advanced market research things to start doing any kinds of promotions. And then while you're waiting around to get things ranked, you've got huge amounts of traffic. You've done your market research already, so you've got your offer, and then it's just time to get traffic. You organize your ROI, and then you just scale like crazy. That's really that is the process. You don't wait to get ranked. You drive traffic from multi-channels with your multimedia.
Yeah, and like this, if we took a scenario, let's just say tomorrow there was a board decision in Google and they said that there will be no longer any free listings. If you want to be on Google, you have to pay a fee, whether it's 10 cents per click or whatever, and everything gets scaled to a monetized module. Where would your business be at that exact point in time if they just turn the switch off? Now with DWS, we've been building this with that in mind, that what happens if Google disappears tomorrow? How are you going to carry on with your business? All of a sudden your business's leads stop, sales stop, money stops coming into the business. Everyone gets into a flat panic. With DWS, we are taking an orchestrated, constructive way of building up a system that gets traffic from multiple places. And this is what the whole promotional plan is about. We've gone through the whole process, and at each step we've just thought about what we had to deal with. We thought through it carefully. We've made our best decisions we possibly can with the information that's available. We've put everything together, and now we can come to promote. Now promoting is different to building silo frameworks. We understand where the money flows to the market. Now we need to look at the market, and we need to take those people in those places, and we've got to push them back to our website. So how do we go about doing that? So when we create a promotional plan, what I've done here is I've clicked on the Manage Promotion Blueprint. And the way this works is it shows us our silos, our categories, our supporting articles, how many backlinks we really need to get, what's the time to get ranked, and how much revenue is bound to a campaign. Now, if we own with bad credit, which is our goal, just on Google, on the search engine, it's going to take us nearly 2 years to own that keyword based on how competitive it is. That keyword can make our business up to 45 grand a month if we got to position #1 and we're meeting all our conversion rules that we set in the system. That's a lot of money to make in your business, and that's worth fighting for. So how are we going to go about doing that? So what we do with the system is, it's a very simple system. It's simple now, it's complex, but it's we've made it simple. We've got this first field over here where you can set a date. So you can basically say, okay, I want to start promoting a keyword, and we're going to check credit rating repair. The way the system works is you can set a date when you want to start the promotion, and by clicking include, it'll take that keyword and it'll inject it into our modeling system. The modeling system will show us how many tasks we have, how much it's going to cost us to write new content, and how much it's going to cost us to use or repurpose the content or media. Okay, and it gives us a cost based on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to exclude those keywords just to dumb down the chart a bit. And we can sit and we can actually make plans, and we can include one keyword and see how long it's going to take, and we can then add more, and we can build it up and see where we max out our budget. We can do different models with clients, and we can really play around with the system until we click the Finalize Blueprint button. As soon as we click Finalize Blueprint button, those keywords get locked down, okay, with the green thing. You can't undo it, it's locked in, and that means it's ready for promotion. So in this exercise to save time, what I've done is we've checked those keywords, we've included them, and then we said we've finalized them, and the result is this. What DWS gives you is a forecast of what needs to happen from June till December, end of next year. Okay, it gives you basically 15 months forward preview. When we look at the tasks in the blue bars, this is our production, our tasks. We can actually see we're ramping up with our work, and we can see the peaks and the troughs of the work. And we can see that our team's not going to cope. So from this screen here, we can actually see how much work is involved on this particular project. Now remember, your team's working on multiple projects. So by putting this load onto them and looking at the whole story, you can actually zoom out and see where HR or human resources needs to come and actually get more people in, or if you're doing things yourself, where you have to find outsourcers to help you. This helps you manage your time. The red line shows us what it's going to cost us for developing new content for that month. Okay, so if you hover that, we're going to spend $1,250. Okay, if we use repurposed content, it's going to cost us $250. If you're not too good at seeing the visual graphs, you don't really understand graphs, what we've got here for you is month by month, blow by blow, from June this year all the way down to December, week by week, how much tasks need to happen. So on average, if you look at this, there's about 10 activities that have to happen a day, just simply by looking at the numbers. Okay, and we can see our costs. Now the difference here is actually the difference between repurposed content and new content. And you can see in the month of August, if you use repurposed content, or the month of July, sorry, the week of July there, you can save up to $700 on the project. So DWS is not only giving you a plan of what you need to do, but it's also showing you where, by using different types of media and publishing different media formats, you can make massive savings on your actual budget and then use that money to feed it back into the system. Russell spoke about traffic signals earlier. We can see by promotion type how the traffic signals are going to go, and the content being published, just in the red lines and the yellow lines. If you look at the red lines and the blue bars, this shows you roughly what content is going to get published at what point in time across what types of media types. So if you look at the grid, in June we're going to work on forums, article directories, social groups, and blog articles. So we're going to be socializing, engaging in conversations with people. We're going to be writing blog content. We're going to be publishing how-to using PAM method articles through article directories and other places where our clients, where we can drive traffic from. And when we go down by the keyword grid, we can see how the campaign ramps up, and as we start getting ranked for the keywords, as their life cycles end, we can see how the promotion work actually decreases. Okay, now this shows us blow by blow, month by month, what keywords we're going to actually be working on. So you can actually plan your production up front, or be a month or 2 months ahead, depending on how you want to work your business. You've got a clear plan. Now, a lot of people come to clients and they say to them, well, what are you going to do for me? Once you rank, build my website, how are you going to promote it? What's you going to do? And then they sit there scratching their head. Now, what are we going to say to the client? Well, we're going to do this. And the client says, no, I want detail. I want to know, blow by blow, buck by buck, what are you going to do for me? With this, we've given you the whole plan. You can actually take this information and you can right-click on the chart, and you can say, with the syndication promotion, you can click on that, and if I just open up a little spreadsheet here, not a spreadsheet, a notepad, we can take all the information out of that chart and we can paste it in comma-separated values. And we can put that into a spreadsheet, and we can actually create a report for the client saying, well, we're going to be working on these keywords. This is how much content you can develop. That's what it's going to cost you if you do new content. That's what it's going to cost you if you do repurposed content. The figures over there are up to you what you want to put in. It's not set in stone. Remember, this is your business and you need to make those decisions. We're providing you with the data and we're giving you the best way forward. But this gives us a good idea of how promotions are going to work. Now, what's great about this is we can start off promoting a silo. So let's say we do the first with bad credit silo and we start promoting that, and we get halfway through that and the client's getting results. Within 30 days he's getting traffic, he's converting because of how the promotions are running, and he's very close to getting ranked. This is okay, go for the next 3. We just change the date when we're going to start those, and we're going to do those from this date. Come back, we're going to do that batch from the next date, and we can plan out our whole promotion plan specific to what they're doing. So if they're in the industry where their products are seasonal, you essentially have to plan everything 3 months in advance so that by the time the season comes, those things are hitting the search engine rankings, so you can actually maximize where you got to be. Plus, you have to plan your promotional content to be in line with the actual season of what's being promoted for that season. This helps you make that much, much more easier and more focused. Okay. So once you've done that, we come to the third-party platforms, and over here is where we can come along and we can actually just create accounts on platforms, and the system keeps track of everything. So we've got our core properties over here, and then in this block here we've got the custom properties. If there's a specific place that's not in our list that you want to have your team publish on, you simply fill in this form, click add property, and it will appear at the bottom here. For example, there we've got Fiverr. There's 2 accounts on Fiverr. What we've got over there, those are for marketer tasks. But over here as well, you can see we've got different things, videos, profiles. This list is growing. We actually got another 800 properties we're going to be adding in here for new categories. For interest's sake of how things are moving, we've created this little chart over here. So if we look at the United States and we click submit, what this does is it queries Quantcast, and it pulls back information pertaining to what properties are most viewed by people using computers versus people using mobile devices. And remember I spoke about diversifying your traffic? This gives you an idea of what happens in the US. So for example, answers.com is looked at more than anything else on mobile devices than search engines. Google owns that lion's share. So if you think about mobile devices, people are looking for answers in America. They're using the thing there. So essentially, there you could just have a whole strategy targeting that particular website and how you're going to position content to drive people from mobile devices through to your primary website. You could put content on there which introduces them to your iPhone app that you've created that basically gives them news updates about what your business and service offers them. And you can drive people to your iPhone app through answers.com. That's just an example I'm doing here of how we can look at things to find traffic channels to drive people to our business, how we're going to put ourselves in front of people. Okay, so once we created accounts and we've got all the accounts set up of where we want to publish our information, remember we've done our research up front. We've gone and looked at where the people we're targeting hang out. We can do it through Alexa, we can do it through all kinds of different places. It's up to you how you want to do that. We cover these things in our training members area where we show you how to do it. We now come and start promoting our content. This is where we're going to assign promotional tasks to our team. So we can go all the keywords, we can go week by week. So this will take the last batch of work that needs to get done for the next week, or we can go by a specific keyword. So if we want to set up campaigns for the 23rd week on credit reports, we can future date stuff and we can assign them to a person. Now you can see there's no work over there, so it's blank. So if I click on all keywords and I say find unassigned keyword tasks, I've got a lot of work to get done, but I'm still in a problem. Both of my team is maxed out. They are full to the brim. I've actually given them too much work. See, at this point now we come to promote. This is where you know, okay, I've got to bring some more writers on. So you can actually go to the team thing, find some more guys to write for you, set them up in the system, come back here and assign the work to them. Now it's as simple as basically coming in here and saying, okay, cool, we've got to write blog articles. I'm going to assign 10 articles to Matt. He's going to write them. It's going to cost him X amount per article. In here we put the repurposed content cost. If you're going to write new content, you simply change the price. You click assign, the outsourcing instruction email comes up, you fiddle with that, adjust it to how you want it, press submit, and it emails the guy his next batch of work. And this is divided by, at the promotional cost, we've got promotional content, conversational content, branded content, and media content. The promotional plan creates 4 channels of promotion, and we keep on adding properties to these. As the web evolves, we update these to include those things. Now, at number 5, where we write the promotional content, if I click on this task, what happens is you can see all these tasks are behind schedule. So Matt's not been doing his work, and Sarah's not been doing the work. They're not meeting their deadlines. So this is where you can start talking to your team and say, look, you need to catch up. And if they can't do it, you simply click on the content manager screen over here, and you can change from whoever's in that team there, and you can reassign it to another person. And that actual task will move out of their workflow into your other team's flow. So if your guys are overworked, this is how you can go about each task, and you can quickly reassign them to anybody else. Okay. So let's say the guys have been writing all their content. All their content is written, and the promotion work's taking place now. It's the same screen as before, but there are slight variations. Okay. On this screen, we got the promotional article, and we got the article written for the primary site. When we click on this, the reason for these two tabs is purely to create the synonymic relationship. This promotional article is going to link via the backlink with back credit to this primary article that's on our money site. Okay, we're going to be driving traffic from here to there, and the bridge between these two articles is that keyword. Now what you see over here is our synonyms and our supporting keywords, but over here we've got our site URL. So we give you the full URL that should be live. So if we go like this, you can check, is that website live? Is that page existing? Something's wrong over here. So now you know that you need to go and fix that page. That page does not exist on the website anymore. Okay, so something's wrong. So it's always good to check. But what I want to point out over here as well is all these parameters that we have over here. These parameters are our tracking parameters, and what they're going to do is with the PKMM module, essentially what you're going to do if you use the trackable parameters, it's going to give us the ability to create the feedback loop that we need to tell you exactly where the traffic's come from, what articles created the traffic, what promotion it belongs to, what keyword it's linking to, did it create a sale, and importantly, who wrote the content. And you might find that some people in your team actually do better at working in certain media types and convert better in certain media types than others. So now you can start looking at your business from a different perspective. And in the PKM, we're going to address those things, and we're going to give you the feedback from that. So that's how these trackable URLs are going to work. If I select this whole thing here, your team member does not have to worry about what keyword to use, what anchor text to use. If you don't want to use the trackable URLs, you can just use the normal one. So I'm going to copy that there, put that in and spin it back around, and there we have the two anchor texts. One with tracking, one without tracking, linking back to our website. So DWS manages your link portfolio for you. If I go back to the promotion task for the month, what we'll see over here is where we're publishing to, we note the publishment, who's writing it, what is the targeted page it's going to, okay, and what the anchor text is. So over here you can see with back credit, we've got with back credit, next one we've got credit for back credit history. And this is where DWS is automatically taking your DNA braid, all the important keywords we set up front, and it's starting to manage your link portfolio, and it's reassigning different keywords to link back to that page. And this is where it becomes really important. Now here we can see we've got a different one, fixed back credits. And as we go to the list, you'll see that the tasks for back credit, there we go, fix my back credit quickly, credit for back credit history. And as we're hopping through the list, we're targeting our primary, but in our portfolio mix, erase back credit, fix back credit again. We're getting this diversity that's coming that's synonymically relevant. It's all theme-based, and each one of these keywords has cost, it has traffic. It's an important keyword in the whole system, in the whole process, and DWS manages this backlinking for you. So what happens next is the guys write the content, they then come to publish the content, and as they come to publish the content, what happens here is the task is assigned to them, and all they got to basically do is copy the article that's over here, publish it on a location, and to sign this task off, they need to put the feedback loop in. Where did we publish this content to, and what is the URL? And you click completed task, and it actually locks the task off. As soon as they click completed, this is going to drop the article that's been published into the RSS feed, the one feed to rule them all. And that's going to basically be this one feed that comes out over here, and that's going to start syndicating it through your hub network that you've created. So it'll get social bookmarks to it, it'll get RSS and pinged, it'll run through a whole bunch of different other media channels, and that kicks off an automatic distribution of your content throughout the whole web using this one feed that we give you over here. And this is bespoke to each one. So to review what we've done on this process here is we've come through project management, we've set up a promotional plan, we've managed our blueprint, we've decided what we're going to promote, and we created accounts where we're going to promote it, we've assigned the teamwork, we've assigned the work to promote it, and then we've published it. And if the guys are trusted and their work's published, what actually happens is, let's say you've got 10 guys writing content and then another 4 guys that are publishing. As they're publishing and really refining those pages, this is going to run through the one feed. And you're going to get all the signals that are happening in random times going to different places as these guys are engaging on different media types and broadcasting across the web. And this becomes really powerful because it's not got footprints like a bot. It's not doing the same pattern as a bot. It's totally humanized. It's totally diverse. And it's speaking multiple different formats. But what's important here is that everything is sonomically relevant. Everything has the unique genetic code assigned to yourself, and everything linking back into your primary website gives Google all the signals that they need. And remember, silo architecture is extremely powerful on its own. It can carry you almost to the top of the search engines.
Yeah, I mean, you'll rank higher for, you know, up to 90% fewer inbound links. But again, at the very baseline of all this, your content's going to convert higher on top of that. And that, folks, is unprecedented. We've just stacked high conversion, increasing the conversion rate, lowering the cost per lead, with sonomic diversity across website silo architecture, which is buoyant PageRank, meaning PageRank floats upwards because of the technological infrastructure, which is almost impossible to build by hand, while you're diversifying and outsourcing your team, surgically targeting words with high conversion sentences that pull the pain behind the questions in the market, uniquely distinguishing your products and services, outsourcing all of that, targeting it through promotion across multiple channels, and also by default preparing your direct response marketing campaigns and banner approach. It's a checkmate on a colossal scale. It's massive. And of course, you know, Sue and Matt and I have been working on this. You know, this is going on 5 years for Sue and I, and this stuff is really mind-blowingly exciting. And what's cool is that inside the members area, if this seems like an overwhelming system, the training, the step-by-step functionality in it, it's all there to dedicate, you know, just a little bit of learning time, because it is a master's degree. Because we have members right now making 5 and 6 figures with clients just literally on the first meetings. And obviously you can imagine why that might be the case when you show them something like this. Even if they don't have a huge technical understanding of silo architecture and the rest, SEO, you're giving them so much accountability and you're wowing them with so much amazing, you know, predictive analysis and business decisions that, you know, it's just obvious your value as a consultant. And if you're not a consultant, you've still got this amazing, you're literally able to build not only a website, but a website broadcasting network through any kind of media type. And that is cool. I mean, it has me really excited.
And the great thing about this is when you start promoting, you can essentially, if you're doing things right, start getting traffic from day one that you start.
That's right.
So for example,
again,
if you just start pushing things through Quora, for example, like Russell teaches the guys how to use Quora, you could drive traffic from Quora, qualified traffic directly to your sales page, providing them with the best information or information within one of your blogs, which leads them to a sale because you're addressing things properly. See, the whole thing about DWS, there's no black hat cloaking, none of this fancy stuff. It's a business building process that's stackable. And there's nothing on the market that has ever done this. This is why we built it, because if you want to succeed, you need to have everything in the right order. And it's a simple system.
Yeah.
Once you've done it a few times, it becomes a doddle. It becomes actually super easy. It makes online easy.
Yeah, so here's some shameless plugs for the shameless marketer here. We had a mastermind group recently, and one of the comments was that the price is not high enough to be taken seriously. So we've had a few other things. So where you guys probably most of you listening have been with us for a long time. Just the information alone inside the membership area on the one feed to build them all, which is like the last thing if you flip this whole presentation on its head and just start rolling it from backwards to forwards. All of the educational stuff that we don't cover here, the specifics, those things alone, just the educational courses alone on how to do this stuff is worth the cost of our current price point. Know that we are moving towards the higher end price point on the next point release, and as is the Theme Zoom way, those of you who've been with us from Theme Zoom from the early years, some of you have been with us as long as 5 years. You know that we always keep our numbers close. We're not into any kind of scarcity tactics or whatever, because we're just going to continue to grow. But just do know that as we move into version 4.5 and as we move out and start integrating these things, we will be raising our prices. So those of you who might be sitting on the fence or who would like to work with us as a joint venture, go ahead and bring your lists and your team, to the table, and go ahead and give me a call if you're interested in helping us promote. And you can kind of get a picture of where we're going with all of this. So again, we're really looking forward to teaching a select group of people how to make 5 and 6 figures with clients, if that's kind of where you're operating right now. And if you're building your own personal broadcast network, we're going to be releasing a lot of material about how to use this as a system to literally build, it's not enough right now anymore, post-Penguin, post-Panda, to be building an SEO kind of link network and all that, obviously, that kind of stuff. You really got to be thinking in terms of online broadcasting and building a brand broadcasting and syndication network for your client and for yourself. We're going to be teaching you step-by-step how to do that in the members area, as well as the use of this technology to do that. So jump on board with us, and if you haven't signed up, go ahead and look at networkempire.com. You can see our pricing layout and also how you can get the last keyword tool, which is also a proprietary technology created by us, on how you can start using that to come up with the best keywords and using our keyword method as well. Anything else you guys want to add, Sue, Matt?
Yeah, I guess just at the end of the day, it's as simple as a 6-step process. That's what it is. And if you understand each process, it's in the understanding that makes it easy. So if you take the time to actually just understand what you're doing, because a lot of people build websites with no thought. They just, let's just get this up live. But if you actually put some thought in what you're doing, you get to know your market better than most. And just by running through each stage of the process, it makes it really, really easy. And when you start outsourcing, you've got a controlled environment, so it's not scary anymore. You've told your guys exactly what you want, and you can really build up a good team. So you can go from a single person to having 3 or 4 guys that work with you, and you can really do really well and totally turn your business and your life around. You see, it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. It's how we determine what we're doing now and how we go about doing it that makes us successful. And with DWS, this makes it really tangible. It makes it something that is possible now, whereas before it was very difficult. So does anybody have any questions or anything before we end up this webinar? I'd like to give like maybe 10 minutes for a few questions.
Oh, great. Yeah, we should definitely take questions if there are any.
Yeah, we've got one good question. Does the project management post to many social media platforms or profiles, or create social media profiles for you? That's the first part of the question.
No, DWS does not automatically create profiles for you. There are tools that you can use to do that, and there are services. I'm going to be integrating or putting the links in there. Like for example, you can have for a fixed cost, you can have all your social profiles and all those things built out for you. I think it's like for $150 for like 300 platforms. There are things like that. There are other tools that you can use, like Magic Submitter or other kinds of tools that do that specific thing. Now, tools are good if they're used in the right way. And if you master your tool, you master the process. So like anything, with DWS, we're managing a process. This is the whole point of DWS, managing the important parts of the process. And if you want accounts created, you could use Fiverr and find a guy who specializes in really doing a great job. And you can get,
yeah, I was going to say 150. I was going to say $150. I pay $5 for mine.
Yeah, no, just there's the one service, you pay them one fee, they go and build it all out, they brand it, they put all your pictures in.
Yeah, we've used them before. And here's the other thing I wanted to add as value, guys. We test all of these things before. I really feel like there's so many things that we just really slid over because Matt's got so much to cover. All of the services, and we're also building our own Fiverr type platform right now for services that we are going to be vetting personally. There's so much going on that we just haven't had time to cover in this webinar. The main thing is that all of the link building services, the rest, they've all been vetted personally by Sue Bell and Matt. And I'm also vetting the social media and the RSS and the syndication systems. So any of the things that we have in here, we're looking at them. We don't recommend anything unless we've actually tested it. So that's kind of where we're at and where we're moving in with that stuff. So again, you can manage the outsourcing of the team management. If you don't have your social network or your profiles created, you just assign it to a team member using the system, and that can be managed as a task. And then you can actually take your elevator pitch, your keyword clusters, your synonyms, and that can be part of the profile that passes through the Silo framework as well into your social profiles, your third-party network.
There's a last point I want to make on that question as well is one of the reasons why we don't just bulk automate and build everything out is you need to know where you're publishing and why you're publishing there. You've got to understand the why of why do you want to put your message on that platform. This is why things have gone the way they've gone, is because everyone's just splashing everything against the wall.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to be spending money on just building hundreds of profiles.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want a specific place, then build a profile there.
I mean, the deeper question, which makes what we're trying to do so challenging, is that you should ask a deeper question, which is it worthwhile, or where, at which point in your overall global network, which is what we're helping you build, your global broadcasting or website network, at what point is it worth mass syndicating to multiple profiles? Well, we teach you that very specifically, and Matt showed you that in some of the early things, but we were going so fast, is the WR2 web ring and the WR3 web ring. So that is a place that you can do that, but it's not, you really don't want to do that on your WR1. And again, this is all part of the advanced certification and even our membership area training.
So we've
Any
got
other questions?
Yeah, we've got one more question. This is the second part to that first question. Does Domain Web Studio create feeds to plug into third-party syndication platforms?
Okay, that's something that I really wanted to address, and to be transparent with that, you can see that Matt has stopped in the promotional one-feed RSS system. This is only the first of several things that we are integrating with this, and also in terms of what we're doing on a larger scale, we've kind of left some of that out of this particular webinar. The one-feed to rule them all system and the multimedia syndication system is still in the process of being built. We do give major training inside the membership area on the one feed to rule them all, content curation, and the rest. Okay, so a lot of what we have to teach you in this area is hands-on training about how you deal with your RSS feed out from your blog. I also am creating a course on video broadcasting RSS syndication, which will be an integral part of the private members area, and we will begin to show you how to integrate all of that within your system. Right now we have a single feed out, and we're going to be, I'll be talking to Matt and Sue a lot more on how we're going to deal with the variations of the one feed, because it's simple. We don't just want to give you a loaded gun and then have you assume that you can stick it anywhere. There's very specific things that you want to do with your feeds, and so it requires some training. And Sue and Matt and I have looked at about a dozen different systems out there, and most of them are doing things in a way that is no longer effective with the recent changes online. So we're making sure that we train you on how to do this effectively using silo architecture and your, for example, the way that you would use feeds on third-party syndication platforms are very different than the way you use feeds from your own personally built website domains, and we have to show you both. So that's part of the members area.
Yeah, the feed we see on this screen is the feed out of DWS. This is the pipe coming out, and this pipe holds links of all the promotional places. So basically, with that feed, we're pushing backlinks to our backlinks, which are linking back to our primary, and that makes it really powerful. And it gives us that channel feeding all the information back down to the primary site as well. So this is, like Russ says, this is the feed out of DWS. It has got it built in already.
Yeah, it's a great way to get traffic and to get your promotions noticed more. One of the big problems that we've always had is, you put your article out there on easyarticles.com, for example, and then it just sits there unless you do something to it. So the whole idea behind this feed was to help get things moving for those inbound links. So you drive traffic toward those inbound links, which in turn comes all the way into your money site.
Well, I know. I also understand what the person's really asking, and I think I know who it is. And so, yes, we will. We don't have them yet, but we will have more than one single feed out of the system. They're talking specifically about YouTube feeds, and the rest. The answer is yes, and they're not sitting here right now, but we have it designed. So, thanks for the question. I know what you're asking. Remember that most of the things, for those of you who know about all the softwares and plugins, you know, a lot of things right now in the web environment are blog-centric. So it's all about, for the very, very few people who understand how to even use RSS feeds in an effective way, they're just generally taking the feeds right out from their blog. And the challenge with that is that those feeds are not set up properly, even from the blog themes. And what Matt and Sue and I are building right now is a very specific and proprietary feed integration system that allows you to take that anywhere. So it's not going to necessarily be only like one single feed from all your promotional marketing through Domain Web Studio. But right now, the focus is on making sure that you have a feed so that all the content in your empire being created by Domain Web Studio is clear. And then we'll show you how to re-syndicate that in an effective way. And there's so many things you can do with a single feed out. You can go into your OnlyWire services and the rest. But for a long-term approach, we're going to be actually separating your feeds out into different multimedia kinds, and we just really didn't want to get into that today too much. But just know that that's coming in the upcoming versions.
Yeah. So what will happen is at the end of the process, the promotional process, the screen will increase with more feeds depending on which one, and also be growing, like Russell said, in the right categories. Yeah.
Exactly. I know who's asking that. I didn't want to get into it right here because it's so incredibly. I gave a sneak peek of it in the curation course. I mean, you guys already know, those of you who are on the call know that we're dealing with micro content curation. We also have a new method called micro press release syndication. I'm very, very big on video broadcasting, which is really ultimately instantaneous video broadcasting directly to your blog through your iPhone video camera. I mean, things are moving so quickly right now that when Matt and Sue and I designed this whole system, we're fully aware it's everywhere all the time right now, that it's no longer about website networks, it's about personal broadcasting everywhere all the time. Like literally creating a network broadcast station for your client or for you. And so all of that's being incorporated, and it's been a colossal task to be already where the environment is going to be 2 years from now, which is the theme Zoom way, to be 2 or 3 years ahead. At the same time,
here's the thing, Russell, like what you're saying there is everything is broadcasting now, but what's really important is the reason why the guys built the framework up front is you need to drive everything now to that place. And it's happening really fast, and the whole process is designed to do exactly what Russell's saying. It's giving you the infrastructure to manage that traffic load as it comes in.
Yeah, and to my point is that these things are not going to change, folks. The infrastructures that we've set up, they don't change. This is my challenge with having people view website silo architecture as some kind of technique. And Sue and I have been dealing with this issue for years. It's not. It's a data hierarchy that stabilizes the most pain-killing questions and keywords, or as Dr. Livingston likes to talk about, the conversation that's happening. Keywords are simply micro-conversations happening in people's heads, so that you can optimize them for conversion and for stackable ranking over time. And the search engines work that way because it's the way that data is stacked. And this stuff is never going to change when it comes, and it's not going to change. It's evergreen. We've known this for 5 years. It hasn't changed. We have a 2,000% increase of rankings and unique visitors by implementing website style architecture for clients in the last 3 months in the middle of Penguin. It's not a technique. It's a market. It's actually a market research stacking process for optimal conversion. And so what we're trying to convey is that these technical systems are in place and they're stable. And as the environment changes, the speed of publishing, literally what we call Penguin and Penguin, are simply Google. There's just simply updates where Google is trying to react to the amazing amount of data that people are able to upload now at the speed of thought. So we're preparing you for the Google +1, the whole integration of all these things, in an environment where you're going to have literally all of your ducks in a row stacked in a stackable business system to leverage other people's time, all of the rankings, all the conversion, all your business decisions for instantaneous conversions at the speed of thought. That's where we're going. It's a little sneak peek of the next year of Domain Web Studio. So getting into the system now and starting to understand how these things work is going to be really helpful for you to be able to optimally leverage your time in this new upcoming environment. Any other questions, Sue?
I think that's it.
Excellent. I really appreciate everybody joining us for this call, and I also especially want to thank my team, Matt DeCruz and Sue Bell, who have just been working like nonstop, ridiculous hours for the last 3 years. And now that we have this point release, it's really obvious to me in our testing and how powerful it's really working. We've really created something that I've been dreaming about for 4 years now, and now it's actually here. And I'm really, really excited to take everything to the next level with everybody on this call, and we look forward to seeing you on the inside.